Hello and welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome, we are very glad to have you here. In the third episode of Season 1, we will continue to explore and go on our quest to make a poor man's amplifier. Before we go any further, let's just quickly recap previous 2 episodes. In episode 1 we talked about reference point, why reference point is important and who gets to tell what reference point is. In second episode of this season, we explained what is electrical potential and voltage, and we also briefly touched on the subject of batteries, and how they work. In our glorious electron travel animation, we cynically hinted about the definition of electric current. In this video we will give today's widely accepted dogmatic definition of electric current. But before that, a disclaimer. What we are about to show in this video is what is today's widely accepted definition of electric current. That definition says, electric current is any organized and directed movement of electrons. In no shape or form do we stand behind this definition. In next video titled Dogma, we will explain why this definition is wrong and how current paradigm does not reflect true nature of electric current. But just for the sake of fun, let's go on with the video and pretend that electric current is organized and directed movement of electrons. In previous video we saw that voltage is that force that pushes electrons through the electrical circuit. In orderly fashion, electrons, one by one, travel from point of higher potential to the point of lower potential, and that travel continues until both starting and ending point end up with same number of electrons, or more precisely, both starting and ending point have the same electric potential. Let's say we have unlimited source of electrons at our disposal, for example, a power plant that keeps our supply of electrons steady and uninterrupted as long as we need it. Until there is interruption in path, for example we flip the switch and the circuit is no longer closed, our electrons will keep traveling through our conduit. We have previously shown and used a term conductor, and we have used a copper wire in our animations as a path for electrons to move. Before we can continue, we need to define what is conductor. If we believe current paradigm that world is made of atoms, and that each atom has a core, also called nucleus, made of neutrally charged neutrons, and positively charged protons, and that around core there are one or more satellite electrons circling around core, then each and every element can be categorized in 2 main categories, conductors and isolators. Of course, there is third group, the semiconductors, but we will leave them aside for now, and consider them isolators, since they can become lousy conductors only under very, very specific circumstances. In their natural state they are isolators. So, what makes a material good conductor? Let's take a closer look at the model of copper atom. The copper atom is made of 35 neutrons, 29 protons and 29 electrons. The 29 electrons are in orbit around core of the atom, also known as nucleus. They circle nucleus in groups at various distances called shells, and there is a whole science dedicated to this matter, but what is important for us is the most outer shell, where there is only one electron. Since he is at greatest distance from nucleus, it is very easy for him to jump from his orbit into the orbit of adjacent atom if that atom is missing an electron or 2 in its most outer shell. Okay, let's draw a couple more of copper atoms. This time we will zoom in just on the most outer shell, the one where there is only one electron orbiting nucleus. Out of pure carelessness, let's say that copper atom at the most right has lost his most outer shell electron. Now, neighboring copper atom to the left, or more precisely, his most outer shell electron sees a vacant spot. Remember story from previous video, how each and every electron wants to desperately trying to jump to vacant spot, where there are no other electrons. This opportunistic electron now jumps to the right, to the vacant spot left there by missing electron. The place where there was electron missing is called hole. It is positively charged and it attracts adjacent opportunistic electrons. After the jump, the most right copper atom is now complete. It has all of his electrons, positrons and neutrons accounted for. But, second atom from right now has an empty spot. The story will repeat itself now. His next to the left neighboring atom will let loose his most outer shell electron and he will jump to fill the vacant place of second to the right atom. In nutshell, the electron and the hole will swap places. The electrons will propagate themselves to the right, while in same time, the holes will propagate themselves to the left. Now, you may wonder, why are these electrons progressing from left to right? What stopped first electron to jump back to his original place? Remember the story about voltage, how it pushes electrons in same direction, from place of higher to place with lower or zero potential. That is why our electrons will propagate themselves in orderly fashion from left to right, filling the vacant positively charged hole to the right, leaving in their place another positively charged hole, that will attract neighboring electron from next atom to the left. This process will continue for each and every atom in our copper wire conductor as long as there is a power source that produces enough voltage to keep pushing electrons. If these electrons, under the influence of voltage, are moving in organized and orderly fashion, that by definition from the beginning of the video, is called electric current. Not difficult, right? The direction of electron propagation through conductor is called natural direction of the current, while direction of hole propagation through conductor is called engineering direction of the current. When you start to experiment with electric circuits, it is very important to choose one and only one direction of current in your circuits and math equation. Most schematics are made with markings and math for engineering direction of the current. Only thing left to say about current in this video is that SI unit for measuring the strength of current is called ampere and it is noted with capital letter A enclosed in brackets. The marking for current in electrical circuit schematic is capital letter I. Now, since current has its strength and its direction, by math definition, current is a vector. You will often see that in electrical circuit schematics, alongside letter I for marking the strength of the current, there is also an arrow pointing to us a direction of current in the circuit. In our next video titled Dogma, we will go more in details about dogma and paradigm concerning the nature of current and how it propagates itself in electrical circuits. So, stay tuned for next exciting chapter. Please, show your appreciation by liking this video, sharing it, leaving a comment, and consider subscribing. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye. In our next video titled Dogma, we will go more in details about dogma